Alright, so I took and grabbed a bumper, which took me forever to get off because of the way the truck was hemmed in the barn. Plus, somebody had made a hitch that hooked into the bumper, so I had to cut that, and it was just a big rigmarole. Anyhow, bumper's not straight, um, but we're probably going to use it anyway. And I hadn't cleaned anything up, and I just used regular zinc plated hardware, not the yellow zinc, because it's what I had. But I put this on so I can kind of reference where I want my tailpipes to come out at. So I'm going to start working on that and see what we can come up with. So y'all hang tight and I'll start working on that. Alright, so I'm going to change the plans. I started getting ready to run these tailpipes, but I've got the muffler hangers are supposed to be here tomorrow, and I kind of think I want to kind of hang this up as I go. So I'm gonna pull off of this for a minute, and so this rear end that's in this truck, it came with the frame. It's a 308 open diff that come out of an 80s model pickup, and all the brake hardware and stuff was ordered for a 71. And I started thinking about it. I got this C10 here that I'm LS swapping. I started on this years ago, and it's got a 6-liter in it with a Muncie 5-speed out of a late model Silverado. And so I kind of got hung up on it because of the clutch linkage, because it's hydraulic. And so I pulled off of it. But when I mocked this thing up, I used, you guys that have been watching my channel, you know, I told you that the truck that the bed come off of was a 69 GMC with a positive traction rear end. Well, it was 308 gear, and I used it to set this truck up. And I thought at the time, because it was a 6-lug rear, that I could just put 5-lug axles in it and be good. Well, you can't. The axle length on a 63 to 70 is different than a 71 and 72. And they make conversion axles, which I had bought a set. So here they are right here. Now this is the rear end that I'm building for that LS swap truck. It's a 71 12 bolt, and I've got a brand new posi unit and ring and pinion for it because it needs more gear than a 308 to run behind that 5-speed. So I started thinking about it. This is a 308 positive traction, and that way I can have my Cheyenne will have a positive traction rear end in it. So I guess what I'm gonna do is pull this rear end out and install, well, I'll take my brakes off of the other truck, off the rear end that's in the Cheyenne. I'll take them off, brake backing plates and everything, and bolt them on this rear end right here. And then I'll put the axles in and brake drums, and then I can put that rear end in the Cheyenne. So I guess that's what I'm gonna do now. Like I said, these projects evolve. It's gonna be a better setup, and I actually had thought about this earlier. I had bought a pinion seal and axle seals and wheel bearings, and a cover gasket for that rear end, which all 12 bolts are the same. All truck 12 bolts are the same. So when I put the brakes on it and everything, I didn't open the diff up and I didn't do the axle bearings or nothing because I was thinking this is what I was going to do. So I'll reseal this 308 positive traction and then swap my brake stuff over and put the axles in it. And it'll be just like what I was going to do, except it's going to be better because it's going to be positive traction. So I guess I'm going to go get some stands and drag a jack in here and get this thing jacked up. And I'll snag the rear end out of it right quick and get started on putting that stuff together. So changing gears, but it's a positive change. So we'll make this happen right quick, and we'll show you as we go. All right, so we got this rear end out of this LS swap truck in here, and you notice it's got disc brake calipers on the rear. This was the LS swap truck, so it's going to be four-wheel disc brake. So we'll take those calipers off and backing plates and everything, and put everything off what we put on that 71 on here, along with the conversion axles. So let's get this thing out the shop here, and we'll get it where we can work on it. Alright, so on the rear end, you take this bolt out, the center shaft here, whatever you call this thing. You pull the bolt out, which you're going to have to turn the rear end a little bit. And this pin comes out, and then you push the axles in and the C-clip comes out. Alright, so this pin comes out just like this. Just like this. And then push the axle in. And that clip is behind the positive gears there, so I had to get it turned around again to get them out. Alright, so here's the C-clip. And do same thing for the other side. Now, as you can see, the conversion axles are just a touch shorter. 1/2 inch or something. So that's why it won't work. But we got them. So let's get back after it. Alright, so we got those caliper brackets off because this truck's going all back drum brakes on the rear like it's supposed to be. So now all we got to do is get the drums, backing plates, and all that stuff off the other truck, and we'll be good to go. So we'll get that going on, and we'll be ready to roll this rear end up underneath of there. So here's another shot of the conversion axle and the 5-lug axle, and you can see the difference in the length. And then if you look at the flange difference, so definitely got to have a conversion axle, which I didn't realize that back in the day, but I'm glad I found out before I ran it any. Probably would have caused all kind of issues. But anyhow, that's what we got. Alright, so I went to press I pressed the studs out of one of my axles that came out the rear end, that 71 rear end or whatever. And I went to press them in the conversion axles, and the holes in the axle aren't the same size. So the studs wouldn't go in the conversion axle. So I have to do some research and find out what the part number on the stud that goes in them conversion axles is. It's a half inch. It's a half inch stud, but I don't know what size the knurling is. It all goes through except where the knurling that catches the axle. So the hole in the axle's just above a half an inch, but it's not as big as the hole in the other axle. So like I said, I got to do some research and see if I can find out what the stud is. If anybody knows the part number, how about let me know in the comments what the part number is. But I'm gonna do some research and find out. So that's kind of where I'm at this afternoon, and we'll get back on it tomorrow.